Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Katie, and today we are going to be doing the Beauty and the Beast book tag. I was actually tagged for this book tag probably 3 months ago, but my filming schedule was hectic, but I'm finally getting it done. I was originally tagged by Jenny Chastain, and then I was recently tagged by Book Talks with Mrs. Thomas, so I will link both their channels down below so you can check them out. And without further ado, let's get started, because Beauty and the Beast is actually, growing up, was one of my favorite, and probably still remains one of my favorite animation movies, the original one. I have no interest in seeing the new one, but I love the old one, and so these are all kind of themed tags around different music lyrics in the movie. So the last, there's two or three lines that I'm wondering, I don't remember these lines from the original animated movie, so let me know if you remember them, because I don't. But anyway, so I'll let you know which ones those are. Okay, so the first one is, "Oh, what a guy, that Gaston." I might sing a couple of these, but that one, no. But it's a villain that you can't help but love, a villain. So I did not do any pre-planning, but as I was typing this out, I'm like, ooh, yeah, I want to pick him. So I do have one for this, and that's Potiphar in Potiphar's Wife by Misu Andrews. Honestly, I mean, he is a villain portrayed in the Bible because of course, putting Joseph in jail when he is accused of injuring his wife or hurting his wife. But she falsely accused him, if you don't know that part of the Bible. But this is all about her and kind of her journey to meet Potiphar and becoming his wife, and her meeting Joseph. And I really enjoyed this book. The sequel's even better. And so definitely Potiphar is definitely a villain that I love. And she definitely portrays him very differently in this. He's honestly a very loving husband, which honestly he probably was. I mean, he was a jealous husband enough to say, "Joseph, get in jail." But so she portrays him as a very loving man who's just trying to give her everything she deserves as being his wife, and she's pretty much wanting nothing to do with him. All she does is want to go home. And so I really like Potiphar, and he's probably one of the only villains that I actually like, because honestly he's not really a villain in this book. All right, the next question is, I really want to sing these, but I'm probably off key. So, "Here's where she meets Prince Charming." So that one is your OPT, One True Pairing. So the perfect pairing. Okay, so for the perfect pairing, I have to mention Wesley and Buttercup from The Princess Bride. I mean, come on. The movie, the book, they're a perfect pairing. I mean, one of my favorite books, favorite movies of all time. Yeah, they're the perfect pairing. Is there a picture of those two together? Probably. This is an illustrated copy, which I love this book so much. My friend gifted this to me years ago, and I love it. I actually haven't read The Princess Bride from this particular edition, but I'd love to read it in the future because it's got some beautiful illustrations. Here we go. Here's Buttercup and Wesley in illustrated form, but the perfect pairing. Yes, those two, definitely. All right, the next one is, "I want so much more than this provincial life." A character destined for greater things. Okay. Oh, that's an easy one. So for that one, I am picking Brielle Adebayo from In Search of a Prince by Tony Shiloh. She is definitely destined for greater things. She is just a local teacher in New York City, and she finds out she is a real life princess when she finds out that she has a grandfather in an African island country, and she is heir to the throne, and she has to go to the kingdom of Aloro Ile to get her throne. So yeah, she's definitely destined for greater things. And so the next one is Be Our Guest. And that is a book that made you hungry. A book that made me hungry. So I don't read a lot of cozy mysteries. I'm just getting into that genre, so I haven't read a whole lot of cozy mysteries that actually have to do with food. There's been I don't know, what has made me hungry? What can I find on my bookshelves that's made me hungry? That one did not make me hungry, but it made me laugh. Let's do a funny one for this one. The Beast and the Bethany by Jack Midget Phillips. I mean, the Beast is hungry in this book, so this is kind of more of a humorous one. It did not physically make me hungry because this beast has eaten everything from birds to all sorts of mammals until he finally wants to taste a real life child and see what it tastes like. And so he meets Bethany, and it's just, I love this series and I can't wait for the next one. So it's more of a funny pick for this because it definitely did not make me hungry, but it's kind of has to do with food, and I wanted to add it in because it was funny. Okay, so I'm going to have a real answer for this as well. So I'm going to choose Tacos for Two by Betsy St. Amant. I mean, this is an obvious choice. I should have thought of it sooner than just looking over there and thinking that one was kind of funny. But this one definitely will make you hungry. This is about two rival food truck people who kind of become friends over text messages, and they don't realize that they're the other food trucks. So they become friends and want to become more, but then they find out they're rival food trucks. So that's absolutely perfect. I mean, the title alone would work for that one. The next question is Beauty and the Beast, and that is opposite attracts. So what's a good opposites attract romance? I mean, most of the time when I think of opposites attract, I think of grumpy sunshine romances because that's just what I go towards because they're definitely opposites. So let's see. I don't have a lot of grumpy sunshine romances. Ooh, that would work. Okay, so the one I'm picking for opposite to attract is actually The Heart of the Mountains by Paperbacks. I feel like this one really works because we have a girl who's named Cora. She's from all the way in England, and then we have what's his name? Jeb, who lives in the Blue Ridge Mountains. So we have like kind of a, not necessarily a cowboy, but yeah, like kind of like a farmer type of a guy. And then we have a kind of posh and proper girl from England. And so we kind of like clashed heads. She's definitely kind of like I would say she's kind of sunshine, but then like so many things happen to her, this poor girl in this book. But Jeb's kind of like the shy, very quiet type of guy. She's kind of more outspoken. So I feel like this is definitely an opposites attract situation. Okay, and then the next question is, but there's something in him that wasn't there before. So a character who was more than they seem. So I'm going to go with The All-American by Susie Finkbeiner. So we have a girl who is in the 1950s, and so they're pretty much girls back then are told to pretty much get married, have a family, and that's pretty much all they're really expected to be. So, but then we have this girl, Bertha, who just is more than she appears. She loves playing baseball with the boys in the baseball field growing up, and I think there's definitely a lot more to this girl than what appears to be. She's got a lot of heart, she's got a lot of energy and drive to be in the baseball game, and yeah, a lot more to her than people realize. Okay, so this is one of the ones that I don't remember from the original movie. It says, I was innocent and certain, now I'm wiser but unsure. I do not remember that line. But anyway, so that question is a book that has changed you. Okay, so for this one, I'm choosing The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp by Sarah Brunsvold. This is this is not a book that I would normally pick up because it definitely talks about hospice and about health issues, and I don't really like to read about those things, but I picked this one up because I love the cover. I really enjoyed the title, and so I picked it up for a review copy, and I loved it. I thought it was great. It was one of my favorite books of last year, if not the favorite. I can't remember, but it remains one of my favorites to this day. I love it. It is just really great. Dual perspective of a woman in hospice, and a girl that has to do an interview with her before she passes away and kind of do an obituary story. And so I saw a lot of myself in the character of Aiden, the reporter, and kind of like gives you motivation to be more like Mrs. Clara Kipp, and just how encouraging she was to others, and how she really wanted to show her faith to others even during her last moments in hospice. And I really loved it. I thought it was great. Definitely one that I would not have picked up in general, but like I loved it, and I can't wait for the author's next book. Okay, the next one is one of the lines that I absolutely hate in that movie, and that is "Kill the Beast." A book you picked up because of the hype. So I don't really pay attention to too much to hype, but I do have one that would work for this. Actually, I'm staring at it. It's on my book cart in front of the camera. And that is Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. This is a thriller, well, a domestic thriller, but I really enjoy this one. It's actually my favorite of the authors. In her earlier releases, there was like really like maybe one swear word, and that was it in the entire book. So I really love Behind Closed Doors. I love the breakdown by her, but then she started slowly adding in a lot of swearing into her books. So, but I picked this one up because of the hype, because it was so hyped about 3 years ago, I think. And so I picked it up and I loved it. And so I had to grab myself a copy. I think I got gifted this one. I think I did it in like a book swap or something, but I had to read it. I loved it. Well, I didn't have to read it, but it was so hyped. And I was like, you know what? I do really enjoy domestic thrillers, because I always like to see how the woman or the man gets out of that situation. So really enjoy the ending of this one. All right. And then the next one this is another one that I don't remember. I think the last two, I don't remember from the movie either. I should really rewatch it soon. I'll Never Shake Away the Pain. A book or moment that always makes you cry. I mean, it says always, but I really don't reread books. Princess Bride I've reread, a couple books I've reread, but I reread very few. So I mean, I'm just going to say a book that made me cry. And I know which one. I've talked about this one so many times in so many videos, and that's Unspoken by Angela Hunt. If you're an animal lover, you might want to skip this one. I'm an animal lover, and gorillas are my absolute favorite. I cried so hard in this book, you would not believe. I cried so much by the end of the book. I'm like, I never cry in front of my family. I cried in front of my mom at night. I was sobbing, and she's like, "Are you okay?" She's like freaking out, thinking something's wrong. And I was like, I just read the most saddest book of my entire life, and it's this one. So yeah, it's good. It's good. It's about a gorilla who is being trained in sign language by this girl, and then this gorilla, the zoo that the gorilla came from, decides that they want her back, and so she's trying to fight them to keep the gorilla. And so it's all about her journey and kind of her almost selfishness to keep the gorilla. I understand her reasons why she wanted to keep him or keep her, but yeah, it was sad by the end of the book. I cried really hard. Yeah, so it was good. And I'm with her. I would have kept the gorilla. All right, the next one is How Does a Moment Last Forever? A book that you've loved since childhood. So I would pick The Princess Bride, but that's not a childhood favorite. I started reading that when I was like, I think 12 or 13 is when I first read it. I think that's about right. So what can I pick for a childhood favorite? Yeah, I'm going to say, my copies are in the other room, but I'm going to say the Journey to Juna trilogy by Kim V. Engelman. It's a Christian trilogy for young middle grade, and I love that series so much. I've probably read it at least 3 times during my life, and it's a great series. If you love Chronicles of Narnia, try to find yourself a copy of those, because they're great. They're highly entertaining. I honestly think sometimes they might be even more favorite than Chronicles of Narnia, because I really love that trilogy so much. It's about this kingdom of Juna, and there's this swan named Laurel who portrays Jesus just like Aslan portrays Jesus in Chronicles of Narnia. And so he asks for these children's help because this very bad, evil swan is trying to steal his swans from his kingdom. And it's really good. I really love it. So definitely a great one. So that's the end of the book tag. So I don't know who to tag. I guess I'll tag book lover Amanda. I'll tag, who else do I tag? I'll tag my friend Christy, and who else would enjoy this book tag? I don't know. and I'll tag Celestria. So anybody else that wants to do this, feel free to tag me if you do it so I can go over and watch it. So thank you for watching. And I think I picked some pretty good books. I picked most of them on the fly here, so it was lots of fun to see. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Let me know your answers to some of these questions. I'd love to know what your answers are. So much fun. I will leave all the questions down in the comment or in the description box as well. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.